Before we start this episode of Grapple Asia podcast, I would like to personally thank our sponsors and our supporters, Soft Spot Açaí. They do some incredible Açaí products, and also they now have branched out to 4 locations: Tongwall Soy 4, Central Lab Prao, Circle Rajaput, and Hemisphere. I highly recommend the pistachio nut batter. It's amazing, it's sugar-free and no preservatives. Our Jiu-Jitsu brand sponsor is Etiquette It's the Asia branch of Aesthetic. And if you use code Grapple Asia, you'll get 10% off everything except from the Alpha. And we also supply in Thailand under fightaesthetic.th or Fight Aesthetic Thailand. They've been around since 2012, first to sell to the UK, and they've just gone from strength to strength, and I highly recommend all their products. And we've just launched bjjlifestyle.com, and it's an online store where we supply a lot of high quality jiu-jitsu brands. And if you use Grapple Asia 10, you'll get 10% off your first order at bjjlifestyle.com. Thank you. Shout out to our sponsor, groundpage.com, the memetic lifestyle band and grappling and sports. They create styles jiu-jitsu apparel with twist of humor, and they built quite a cult following and community as well. And if you use the discount code Grapple Asia, you'll get 10% off all orders, and give them a follow as well on Cheap Creante. And again, the website name is creantes.com. So at the time of this episode being released, it'll be episode number 38, and I've been lucky enough to catch a legend called Mr. Roberto Atalla right on time. He's doing a seminar tomorrow at Carpe Diem Bangkok, and he's the founder of Rio Grappling Club and is one of the original old school jiu-jitsu guys from Brazil. So thanks for coming on, Professor. Thank you.
I'm glad to be called to be here. It's a pleasure.
So your background and history, can you tell me how you first got introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, when I was starting from the real beginning, like when I was early teenager, 11, 12 years old, I was crazy about Kung Fu and Bruce Lee, as you know. And in my region, they only had karate.
Yeah.
And I found at that time when I was a kid, I didn't find it exciting. It was so much structure in strict, and it was not really what I wanted, so I was just breaking bricks at home, doing stupid things, trying to play nunchaku, nothing serious. Until I was 15, I met a guy that was serious into capoeira. I dived deep into capoeira for 2 years. I trained quite hard with capoeira. And then I realized people were like taking people down and going to the ground in the street. And then I watched my first Vale Tudo matches on video, VHS, and I see Royler Gracie beating Eugenio not beating, was like a very rough fight, but like this skinny guy handling like a muscular guy and going to the ground, stay on the bottom and being able to defend and to attack. And that was just really blew my mind. And I decided, no, I have to do jiu-jitsu. Yeah. Damn the capoeira, I gotta go for it. And then, but it was until 17 I went to the university, so I moved to Rio de Janeiro. I was in a smaller town 2 hours away called Cabo Frio, where I was studying before, and there was no real jiu-jitsu there. And then I went to Rio de Janeiro, I started my university, and I discovered the Gracie family and everything, and I had a friend of mine training with them as well that came from capoeira. He pulled me, I met Renzo, and I was like such a charismatic guy, Very. But Carlinhos Gracie had like a more expensive gym, so I started training under Jean-Jacques Machado in my first year.
Ah, okay. There's actually...
they were together, but with 2 separate gyms at the time. That was in 1990.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I always was a big fan of Jean-Jacques just because he's obviously got, he's not able to make grips with one of his hands, obviously, as well. And he is quite a legend in the USA now. So your main instructors first was like Jean-Jacques?
In the first year, I would tell you, honestly, I learned a lot more from Roberto Correa, Hélio Soneca, and Draculino, and Soca. Those guys were my training partners, more advanced than me, and they were actually giving me all the insights. Jean-Jacques would come, warm us up, show one technique, let the people spar, that very old school kind of teaching.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot more from the team. From the beginning, it was like that, in my adventure. I really got real instruction once I was in America and I had like 3 months under Rickson Gracie, and once he was stepped in the mat, he really taught so many fine details. And then I moved back to Brazil and started training directly under Renzo, going together by car to train with him. And that was really like where my jiu-jitsu started to really grow.
Wow. Okay. And then you ended up getting your black belt in 1998 from Sergio Souza.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes.
So how did you end up going from, let's say, the Renzo Gracie Association, maybe it wasn't an association at the time, to under Carlson?
Yes. Well, Renzo didn't have his association at the time. He was working under Carlos Gracie Jr. Okay. Once he moved to the United States, and okay, one time I went to the United States, I trained under Rickson there, but I didn't feel like going back to United States after Renzo. I had to be in Brazil, like for many reasons. And I kept training under Gracie Barra. And I had developed serious issues with Carlos Gracie's ways until there was something happened in a tournament. He disqualified me from a tournament. I was representing his team, you know, like, and I felt that he didn't appreciate all the things that I was doing for the team, you know, and I decided, it was a very tough call at the time, you know, in 97 to this between 96 and 97 to change teams while I was a brown belt.
That's, yeah, it's quite a big deal.
Back on the time was really, really difficult situation. It took me a month to decide if I move out or not. Once I decided to move out, it was easy choice because the best team in Rio at that time, it was called Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club, and it was led by Murilo Bustamante and Sergio Souza. Both guys were together. They were both under Carlson Gracie, but they had their own teams. Carlson Gracie always supported some of his coaches to have their own teams, and sometimes those students would compete under Carlson Gracie in the biggest competition, but in the smaller ones they were competing. So Murilo had a very strong team, but small, and Bolão also had a very strong team, but it was a little bigger than, and they joined. And that was 1 year before I decided to join them.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they had the best purples and browns at the time in my weight division and higher than mine.
Yeah.
Nova União had at that time very good guys, but they were a lot smaller than me. Shaolin and Robson Moura, to give you the most famous one, and Leo Santos was starting to come up as well. But they were lighter than me. And I decided, okay, between Nova União, which is far away, and the guys are my size or bigger, Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club is my best option. I met Murilo first I met Bolão on the beach. I talked to him. Then I talked to Murilo. Because they had many guys on my division that were competing against me, they decided to make a meeting if they approve me or not. And gladly I was approved. You know, I had only made friends in that team. You know, I met Minotauro while he was training under those guys as well. I made so many good friendships there, and I learned so much jiu-jitsu while I was there as a brown belt. You know, like I got like a different school, a different way. I start to pass guards more, you know, like, so my jiu-jitsu became like more 3D, let's say. Yeah. Because of that.
So you would say that Gracie Barra was more guard orientated, while Carlson Gracie or Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club was more kind of like smash pass kind of thing?
Yes and no. Let's say on Carlson Gracie, you always had like good guard players like Liborio, like De La Riva, like Bolão. But you had guys like Murilo, Marius Perry, and others that was mostly like passing guards, but they could do guard as well. Yeah. I was surprised, but in competition, they would choose that. You know, and Gracie Barra, although we had guys who were passing guard, they were not so well versed in pressure passing.
Right.
One exception. My best guard pass I learned from Nino Chembri, and he was training with me at Gracie Barra at the time before, you know.
It's awesome. Yeah. So you're saying that Robson Moura and Shaolin were lighter weight division. So does that mean you were in lightweight or you were in medio?
I was middleweight most of the time. As a brown belt, I was training judo as well. And for a year and a half, I competed on under 73 kilos. Okay. So it's lightweight at the time. We didn't use to wear the gi to weight on at the time, you know.
And you've won the Mundials at purple belt before.
Yes, that was when I was in Gracie Barra. I fought Shaolin on the absolute division, and among other guys, Mauro Schwenk was my first match. Was the guy that now is currently working with me in Rio Grappling Club, and became my friend when we start training together under Murilo Bustamante and Sergio Souza as well.
Yeah. So a question I want to ask is, what was your toughest belt promotion and why? Like, let's say blue, purple, brown, and when you receive your black belt. Obviously, at brown belt, you made a huge transition. It's never an easy decision to move to a different team as well. Sometimes if you have work obligations where you have to move country, it's completely understandable. But switching teams can be, especially at brown belt, because like once you're at brown belt, basically that's you. You're part of that team forever, kind of.
Yes, and I was I was huge on the competition at the time. I was one of the most competitive guys in Gracie Barra at the time, and it was really a tough decision. That's why it took me a month to decide.
Of course,
you know, I didn't take it lightly, but you know, because of many decisions that Carlos Gracie did that pushed me away from the team, I decided. I tell you nowadays, if I think of it, it was the best choice because Renzo was far away in New York. Renzo was a big supporter of myself. My brother works under Renzo Gracie. My brother has 2 gyms in New York, and they both under Renzo Gracie, you know, like, and I have so much love for Renzo, you know, cannot say the same for Carlos.
Yeah. I think Renzo's probably I'd say I'm a huge fan of Renzo as well, just watching his videos and stuff like that. I think the last video I saw of him was when he was talking about health once he passed away, Hein when he passed away. And just, you know, he has a lot of love in his heart as well, and I really respect that. And obviously he's really helped with the expansion of Jiu-Jitsu and the UAE and areas like that as well.
Yes, and also in New York, huh?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Danaher's under him, right? So it's pretty crazy now to think about it. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of like belt promotion, which one was the toughest for you? Because some gyms, they have their like gauntlets or they whip you. And I heard from someone from Nova União, like,
but the gauntlet is just after you get a promotion, and people have a big controversy about gauntlet. In my team, we do it, but it's optional. Yeah, you know, and I try to avoid doing. We don't do it for kids, but you know, like I go to Croatia, and the kids like to do it. Actually, you know, like as long as you don't take it so hard on the gauntlet, but. Let's say gauntlet's not an issue for me. I agree that some teams prefer not to keep it out. I don't know. It's a new tradition. It's an old tradition. I don't know. When I started doing in Gracie Barra, we didn't have gauntlets. It wasn't an issue. But after a while, I saw so many people doing it. I have mixed feelings about it. Yeah. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I would say for me, the hardest promotion was the black belt. Yeah. Because what happened is Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club at some point ceased to exist because Murilo and Sergio broke apart. While Murilo was fighting on the UFC and became a champion there. You know, like Bolan was every day teaching us gi classes. And when they split and we as students, we had to opt. You know, like, and I wouldn't think like, oh, I'm going to go to Murilo because Murilo is a UFC champion and I'm going to be a black belt under Murilo.
It's who's there.
Who is there for us every day. So I decided to stick with Bolan, Sergio Souza. Like, they both amazing coaches. Look, Murilo gave me so much knowledge and so much support as a corner for me on the Mundials as I won in the brown belt division, you know, like in lightweight, you know, like, and I had support from both of them. So it was amazing. It was a very another tough decision after that, but you know, like you have to choose sometimes, you know, like, and then I stuck with Sergio Souza, and it took me a while to get the black belt. So because of those situations, black belt was like my most difficult. But I will tell you one thing. I wasn't concerned about belts at all. I actually wanted to stay longer in every belt to become the best competitor and to get as many titles as possible before moving to the next belt. So I never had a concern like, oh, this is gonna be easy or hard, you know, was different kind of mentality that people nowadays crave for belts. I never crave for belts.
Yeah, it's actually a funny story, actually. My coach, Andrew, he didn't believe in stripes. So basically, when you're ready for the belt, you get the belt, basically. Obviously, some people, especially a white belt when they first start, especially if it's someone 9 to 5, they don't know how to measure if they're improving or not. So we started giving out stripes at white belt. But after that, color belts are just color belts, basically. And I've heard from a few friends of other students that they don't actually come to Arete because we don't give stripes anymore after white belt.
Yes.
It's strange. Some people do obsess about it, but I think I had a podcast with Preet Mikkelsen, who's the defensive BJJ guy from Estonia. And when I asked him, what does a black belt mean to you? He said to me, nothing and everything, basically. It does mean something because you work towards something, but at the same time, once you get it, just you realize it wasn't about the belt. It was like the journey of getting there, basically. And that was probably my favorite answer.
I think I could agree with him so much about that, you know, because nowadays, you know, the Jiu-Jitsu grew so much over the years. And you have so many black belts, you have so many stripes. Exactly. And I have a joke with my best student. One of my best students, Mariusz Korze, is the leader in Poland. Is a long time ago, I was in Canada and I opened a Karate Illustrated, and there was this story about black belt that the student was confused because he was wearing 5 stripes on his black belt, and on the magazine or in some book it was written that has 6 stripes, or vice versa. And the student came and inquired the coach about his stripes, and he said, look, in my vision, there are 2 kinds of black belts. The good ones and the not so good ones. I'd like to think I'm on the first group.
Yeah.
And I took this as such a deep lesson, such a great insight. I took it for my ear that I really, doesn't matter, it's not only for black belts, you're talking about any belts, you know, like in any kind of job, in any line, you have the people that put their heart on it and they become the best they can be, you know, and others that just take it easy, I don't know, or they don't mind so much, do it as a hobby, is not wrong as well, or maybe they don't have the... I won't say jiu-jitsu is about gifts, you have to train hard, you know, but some people have more trouble learning and getting the concepts and applying them physically as well, you know, like, so not everybody is going to be apt to come to the higher level, you know, like, so those people will end up in the second group.
Absolutely.
And in this joke we did with Marius, was sometimes we're talking about somebody that, oh, is this black belt? Yes, but second kind, something like this, you know, like, so we have this as well. And what's the name of this guy from Estonia?
Oh, Preet Mikkelsen.
Preet Mikkelsen. If you're
Mikkelsen, yeah.
Mikkelsen. If you hear me, I'd love to go to the Baltic countries. I'm close to you guys in Poland. I never been to Estonia, Latvia, or Lithuania, but hopefully, if I get invitations, I'll be there soon.
No, great. So moving on a little bit. So when did you start traveling internationally for seminars?
In 2003, I actually moved to London. I moved, actually, my original plan was moving to the Netherlands, but I first had a few weeks in Northern England. While I was there, I was taken by the Butling brothers to Scotland, and I did my first seminar in Glasgow.
Yes.
That was in August 2003.
August 2003, okay.
That was my first international seminar in Glasgow. They didn't have the grip house at the time, but Gary Christie and James Doolan, they were there. Paul McVeigh was traveling. He was in Ireland with his wife, Miss, at the time. And I caught up with him on my next trip to Scotland. But that was my first ever seminar, international seminar in Glasgow in August 2003. After that, I went to Netherlands and I felt that the jiu-jitsu market was too small for me to live from it. And it was a good call for me to move back to England, and I decided to establish myself in London.
Okay.
Once I got a student visa, I started traveling around, but mostly I was going up to Scotland and around England, but I was always traveling a little bit to Europe as well until I got students from Poland in my London gym. Those were the most committed guys that I had. And I decided that I had to make a move and get to get a really good team, I would have to go to the Eastern Europe, and Poland was a really great decision I made. I traveled there in September 2004. By the time I was already going to Greece, and I started to traveling around, and then I got the bug,
Yeah. Okay. So with Poland, what was it about Poland that you decided to make the move to Poland? Not obviously not. You saw that you could make like a serious team with serious students, but is there something unique about Poland that kind of like drew you to the country and the culture, for example?
Yeah, there's always a woman involved.
Yes.
Yes, but no, but seriously, the thing is that I was so curious because when I was in London, I met all kinds of people. I was teaching SOAS University of London. So this is a school for those that don't know England very much, but University of London is huge, and SOAS is a part of the university. They have schools of Oriental and African studies. So you have all kinds of learning from Japanese language to Swahili and cultures from Asia and Africa. So it's a vast thing. And I was teaching on the basement there, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling, and I had students from all over the world, some of them from the university. I met so many people from university there, but also from outside because they were allowed to bring friends. And I started having some guys from Poland coming, and the things, once I start teaching every day, guess who was showing to everyday classes?
Were coming every day, yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
My English students and the other guys from other countries, they would come, Italians, they could come once a week, twice a week, but man, the Poles...
It's a different type of dedication, I find. And every time you think you're going to end up rolling with a Polish person, you're like, it's going to be like a tough role, They like to train hard. I was in Phuket Grappling Academy. There was a camp, I think it might have been the last year or the year before, with Kamil Wilk and Mateusz Szynski. They do something called Leglock Camp. And they did a week down in Phuket. And they were going to transit to Bangkok anyway. So I said, would you like to do a Leglock seminar? And they did a podcast with me as well. But yeah, it's funny because I said to them, Mikey Musumeci was doing a camp for his match with Shinya Aoki at my gym, or Arete. And he's obviously very light, and he competes at 61 or 63 kg or 135 when he competes. So when it comes to getting ready for competition or prepping, obviously you need to be very careful about injuries before leading up, because there's a lot of money on the line for ONE FC grappling. And at the time, the Thai national team, Jiu-Jitsu or Newaza national team came, and there's certain things you do and you don't do when someone's preparing, obviously. And they wanted to try and test themselves. They weren't trying to be disrespectful, but Mikey's getting ready for a fight, and it was the first time they ever met together. You get to know someone, you can be like, we're going to smash each other, basically. But in that case, Mikey was like, no, sorry, that's enough. And he stopped training with them. And I asked the Polish guys, I just said, are you guys ever care about that kind of stuff? It's like, no, we're from Poland.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, fair enough. It's a different mentality.
But yes and no. I would say that you can have, I had last week, I had a camp in the Polish mountains. We had over 100 people. We had guys from Gdansk. It's a different team. There was a black belt from Gdansk. He's younger than me, but he's on his 40s. And we had such a nice, and the row was flow row, really. Like on the day that I had 10 rows on the same day, and some of them I had to choose carefully because some of them go rough as well, But I would say that depends, but as a rule, I would say not that every pole will go hard, but they will not go easy. Let's put it this way.
Very good distinction.
And I would say something like this. The Brazilian culture is like that. The coach comes, shows a technique, and if it tells you to train 10 times, you're going to do maybe 6, 7. And if he moves out of the classroom, when he comes back, people are chatting and having fun, joking about last night, and nobody's gonna be training.
Yeah.
This I experienced while in Poland. I can go to the class, I can show a technique and tell the guys to do it, and I can go away for 5-10 minutes, and I come back, they still drilling the technique. They don't ask to stop, like they have commitment.
Yes.
And this is very important if you want to be good.
Yes.
You have to have good mindset to learn jiu-jitsu, but commitment is very important. And if you don't commit to repetition, like I know that some people are against this idea, but I think drilling is a huge part of becoming good in jiu-jitsu because you educate your body to move when your mind commands but your body not able to do it.
Yes.
So I'm very good fan of teaching movement, especially for basic students. They don't need to learn all the techniques, all the details, all the grips, but they need to know how to move, how to step, how to have good balance. And this repetition gives you all of these,
Yeah, I think when people talk about drilling as well, they have a different idea of what drilling is in their mind compared to, let's say, for example, what your interpretation of drilling is as well. And I agree, like a certain amount of learning the basic mechanics of a technique is very important, I think, as well. And obviously, as you get better, you want to kind of like add a little bit of resistance as well.
Yes, exactly. It's good to have this resistance, and you have to have, like, in a way that I try to analyze jiu-jitsu like I see other sports. And when I go to watch a football coach training his guys to play, they don't play full games every day until Saturday or Sunday. They're gonna be doing specifics. So I'm very fond of doing specific. Let's do guard pass, let's do half guard pass, let's do half guard starting with the grip like this, We start this and we give the guys options. Like you can do this or that, but it should not, because you're just passing, you should not attack leg locks at this moment. And you give them some directions and let them improvise, of course, as well. This
good. It's awesome. So Rio Grappling Club, tell me how that started, what the history is, and why do you think it became so successful?
Well, I think because we are more a network than a franchise system. We are more decentralized, and I think this is the future of the world.
Yes.
Internet is decentralized. I'm not gonna go into this that deep, but I think one of the reasons, I think the philosophy is that I'm this for the love, not for the money. I'm not here to sell geese, although I do sell geese and I sell rash guards, but I'm not here for the money. I always wanted to expand jiu-jitsu to become a jiu-jitsu pioneer.
Yes.
And I wanted to travel to different countries. I don't care how poor they are. I've been 4 times to Armenia. I didn't go more because they obviously couldn't support me every year. But I've been to so many other countries, so I think this is one of the reasons, is the philosophy behind it, is to expand the jiu-jitsu. So, and I try to get the best guys, the guys who really have the same passion as me. I really try to select guys with high-level technique and open minds as well. Nowadays we have a set of rules and people have to read them and agree with those. But I think the big thing about what we're doing is that we are not a franchise system. We are a network.
Yes.
So we work, I give a lot of independence to my guys, especially when they grow and I know what they're doing well. I just want them to collaborate horizontally a lot as well, and we reached this stage that now we are getting guys from different countries in Europe to collaborate more. And now we had like 15 people from Italy coming to the camp in Poland. We always had guys coming from other countries coming to the Polish camp because it's very strong. But these groups are moving very close together because, like, I sent Poles to compete in the Italian Open this year. And I think the fact is like my philosophy and the way I work with the people. I don't take advantage from the people. I'm very clear and honest about how I work.
Yes.
And I'm straightforward. I'm punctual. I'm guy like if I commit to you, I'm gonna be at your place at the right time, and I'm gonna doing the proper thing. That's I think a lot of Brazilians like these small things as well. You know,
that's kind of what I expected today as well. I just thought, oh, he might be a little bit late. As long as he gets here, it's fine. And then you just said you're here like way earlier than me, and I was just like, oh my goodness, okay, okay.
Yes. After the podcast, I tell a little story about this. But I think I learned that while I was living in London. You know, like I think I learned a lot from the British culture. You know, like I think respecting people's time is very important.
Absolutely.
Because it's the most important asset we have is our times.
Exactly.
You know, like if I disrespect your time, you know, I'm disrespecting you, you know, like. So, guys, if your girlfriend is always late, she's disrespecting you. Change. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
But you wanted also, let me just fix a little bit, because you wanted to know the origin of Rio Grappling Club.
Please.
Bo, the idea about the name is because I had my best times after Renzo left to USA in the Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club. While I trained as a brown, and then when Sergio Souza and Murilo, this team ceased to exist. I didn't have like imagination or anything for a name, and I decided to ask Murilo to use the name Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club.
Yeah.
And I had a meeting with him while he was already leader of Brazilian top team, after they had the fallout with Carson and everything. And at the time, I was already living in England. I had opened a society. There was a grappling society in SOAS and didn't have a name. It was just SOAS Grappling Society. And I asked Murilo if I could use Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club as my team, because I felt that people wanted to be. I didn't want to be involved in the politics of the teams in Brazil.
Yes.
So instead, he told me, Roberto, I don't know where BTT is going, and I don't know if I'm going to need the name Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club in the future. So please ask you not to use it. But if you want to become part of the Brazilian top team, you're more than welcome. And I say, Murilo, that's not what I want. I actually want to have my own team.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to be following the people's politics. Yeah. And also because Murilo had another representative in Europe that I didn't agree with. I'm not going to mention any names. Okay. The guy's not in BTT anymore. But because of that, like his policies were so different from mine, this other guy, and I decided, no, if I want to be in Europe and I want to be my own team because I'm doing a good job and I don't trust other Brazilians what they're doing outside of Brazil, I'll be honest to you.
I've got a few stories about that.
Well, they have mixed. We have guys doing their best, some of guys doing their worst and even more. And even thinking they're doing the right thing, you know, like I'm selling bells or scamming their students, all kind of stuff that I totally disagree with.
Absolutely.
You know, like, and in the beginning I had to prove that I was different. Nowadays, my name talks, you know, like before I come to a place, but of course you can ruin a reputation in one day. So
absolutely.
Just keep doing the way I do, and I don't mind what other people do. Is their problem, you know? Is their choices in life? But then I decided that since I could not use Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club, and I had a grappling society, why not Rio Grappling Club? And that's the origin of the name Rio Grappling Club, and it's stuck, and it's here now 22 years after. You know, awesome. And then in 22 countries.
Yeah, it's crazy. Wow, like 20. Yeah, growing something like that, like you said, you do it for the love of it, and obviously you want to leave a legacy, a positive legacy as well. So it's pretty.
Look, the thing is. About legacy, I actually agree with Mike Tyson thing. You know, we're gonna die. Nobody gonna remember this. Well, it levels to this thing, anyways. But in any case, the fact is, if I went to the USA instead of coming to Europe, okay, I would be probably rich, fat, old coach now. Like I see some of my friends. I'm not criticizing you guys. You know, you do what is best. You have families. It's up to you. Guys running 1 or 2 gyms or maybe having a nice network. But I would be like people go to America and they get it's so much the market and the things to do inside there, they don't go around. Or if they go around, they want to back to America because it's their comfort zone. You know, like once I went to Europe, I decided to explore the whole world. And I'm glad I did it, really. I actually glad, because I think this became like a way that I could actually bring jiu-jitsu to a lot of other places that didn't have the chance to have higher level. Nowadays, you have videos everywhere. You can have more access to technique, but still you need some guidance.
Yes.
And this is part of what I do. I've been doing for those 22 years.
So having said that, you've been to the Middle East before as well, yes?
Yes.
So what were some of the biggest challenges in bringing jiu-jitsu to places like Eastern Europe or the Middle East, for example?
Look, I think because I'm so fond of learning about new cultures and things, I didn't find like so difficult in Eastern Europe specifically. I felt like the language barrier at the beginning but I think I got people that could speak English, some of them not so well, and this and that, but I didn't have any problems.
Yeah. Okay.
In contrast to this, I was working a little bit in this program in Abu Dhabi, and I was teaching people that didn't want to learn.
Yeah.
And
that can take the pleasure out of it as well.
Yes, and look, the energy is something that you feel the people's energy, and you give your energy to people that don't appreciate that.
That's actually a really interesting point. There was a black belt that came to visit us, and he was teaching in the Middle East as well, and I think he was teaching police and military. And obviously, for them, it's a job and it's an obligation. And I think one of the things probably a lot of people really love about jiu-jitsu is the culture and the friendship, and just like feeling great with the people you're surrounded with. And when he came to train at my gym, I think after training, he was sweating, he was happy, he met some nice people, and he was holding his chest I really miss this kind of like culture. And I think that's that's really important, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, there's nothing wrong especially if you need the money to go work for those projects. You also do something very important.
Yes.
And especially if you're working with kids, but in my case, I was already in Europe, and I had like so many students that really want to learn from me, and be in a place that just the money didn't make that much sense to me. And I decided, okay, after 6 months, I left. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I rather keep without a boss.
Yeah.
And keep myself I keep my freedom. I keep doing the things my way. Like I'm gonna be at some point too old to be teaching, but I'm wanna think that I did things my way.
Yes. Yes. Good answer.
That's actually the song at my funeral. my way. But I want Elvis Presley to be singing it, not Sinatra. I want the version from Elvis.
That's awesome.
Big fan.
Philosophy and teaching. So what's your core philosophy when it comes to teaching jiu-jitsu? Like, what is important to you when it comes to teaching jiu-jitsu? Like let's say teaching style. I want you guys to think of this when you're doing jiu-jitsu.
Look, I'm there to serve the students, so my goal is to observe what they're doing and try to improve. If I see they lack good movements, I'm gonna focus more on movements. If they lack technique, if they lack structure, I'm gonna try to structure their thinking, giving them concepts as well. So I try to be there for the student. I think this is my philosophy, is to feel, and sometimes this is difficult in seminars.
Yes.
So my seminars, I structure them around a theme. So basically tomorrow, depends on the general level, I'll be working either on kimuras or I'm gonna be working on a key guard. Okay, so if I'm working on key guard, I'm gonna only focus on teaching the basics, the how to avoid the counters that people would use, and how to get to the point of no return, where you can apply your technique, and then you're sweeping or taking the back, or submitting from that position, or in the case also from Kimura is the same, how to get there, and from there what to do. If the guy defends this way, I have this approach, those approach. I give options for people, but I focus on one theme. So people would go to a seminar of mine, they will always learn something that will add to because you're gonna have white belts, they're gonna learn everything, and you're gonna get black belts, they're gonna pick 2 or 3 details.
Yes.
But I try to get something that is useful for everyone on that seminar.
Okay. Good answer.
On a normal classes, I'm gonna be focusing on observing the students and pay attention to what they're doing wrong and trying to fix details, and that's I think one of my best things. I remember when I was competing in the 90s, I knew everyone's game.
Yes.
And I had strategies. And my friends would come, oh, Roberto, did you fight with this guy, or did you train with him? What should I do? And people would ask me for advice because they knew that I knew everyone's game.
Yes,
you know?
yes. So you comprehensively studied other your competitors, basically.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. And what do you think is one mistake a lot of coaches make when it comes to like coaching or teaching, would you say?
One mistake.
Mistake, or something that you don't particularly agree with, or something that you feel like is lacking, let's say.
I don't know. I think sometimes coaches try to impose respect. And I think respect is earned. You don't scream to your students. You don't talk loud. You don't need to be ever violent to students. I think you conquer respect by showing humility, showing that, like, being confident, real confidence, in the match, the way you walk, the posture you are, that you have nothing to do with your skills, but how you can deal with the other people, how you can be, like the lack of confidence brings this aggressiveness that I see in some coaches. I think this is something that I sometimes I dislike when I see somebody screaming at students or even beating them up, or I see some kind of crazy shit, unfortunately. you know.
So you think it comes from insecurity, basically?
Yes.
I understand.
I had my mistakes myself as well. I'm not saying I'm perfect on the mats, but like in life, we learn from our lessons and we try to progress every day.
Good. And in terms of, let's say, I would say obviously you've competed extensively over your entire jiu-jitsu career. And how would you say the competitive scene has changed from then and now, would you say?
Well, once the pool grows, the level grows.
Yes.
So I would say not only on competition. What's the level of jiu-jitsu nowadays is a lot higher than in the 90s on the top level. The guys who are winning now, they are more complete athletes.
Yes.
And they know a lot more. But if you go to the base on white and blue belt, and even on black belt non-competitive level as well, or even because you grow so much, on the highest point of the pyramid, the level is a lot higher. But the overall level of jiu-jitsu has gone down. It's a paradox. Because the more you grow the sport, you're going to have on the highest level, you're going to have a lot better than you had 30 years ago. But the average went down. This is my feeling.
I agree with you. But obviously with the spread of jiu-jitsu and how it expands, of course, the numbers get higher. So that means on average, things get diluted as well.
Yes. It is normal.
Yeah.
It is normal in every sport, and it's part of life we have to accept. If we want to grow jiu-jitsu, and we want to grow jiu-jitsu, we have to understand that this is going to happen, but we have to work to try to improve this average slowly and steadily, because there is nothing else. We cannot be complaining and cry about it. It is what it is.
Good.
There is advantages and disadvantages of having gyms everywhere.
Yes. So, currently, I don't know if you still keep up to date with competitions now. Which modern competitors or coaches do you admire today?
Oh, I would say the Mendes brothers.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I would put them on very high level as coaches, you know. Like I like also not as they don't have their own team, but the job they're doing on the internet, the Miao brothers are doing a fantastic job or breaking down techniques from everyone, you know, simple things that you just go and give their 2 cents, you know. Like I like them both. I follow them as well. You know, I kind of get bored with Danahar's explaining.
I think a lot of people
I
do.
could sleep on that. And I would say also I prefer to watch Gordon Ryan, to be honest.
Yeah.
But all of these, not all of these, but most of these came from Renzo Gracie directly.
Yes,
but Renzo is
exactly.
chaotic.
Yes.
He cannot put structure to anything. He's going to do a seminar, he's going to show a leg lock, a choke, and a crucifix, and then some two-guard passes that don't relate to each other. What Danaher did very well is to put everything together, structure those things. Because Renzo is a fantastic coach, but chaotic.
Yes.
And I think Danaher did a great job.
Yeah.
But it's so boring, so I rather go and watch Gordon or Ryan to get some of those details, you know.
I understand what you mean, yes.
Some of those things that I probably didn't learn or didn't pay attention or that they added themselves as well, because they of course added stuff themselves, you know. Like I try to pay attention what people are coaching nowadays. Competition I watch randomly. Sometimes I take the TV. I love to watch Adam Wajcinski, you know, like man, this guy, like I was doing half guard and butterfly guard in the 90s. And now I saw him coming with a little trick. He's got longer legs than me, but I saw him doing a little trick that I tell you that if I could go back to the 90s to use in my competition time, there was 2-3 guys that I didn't sweep that I would have swept those guys, you know, with that detail that I learned from him, you know, like, so yes. And Adam is a really cool guy. He came to one of our Polish camps a few years ago, and I met him. He even speaks some Portuguese. I think my Polish is better than his Portuguese, but I don't know. This doesn't matter really. His jiu-jitsu is better than mine for sure.
I remember he recently went to Japan for a seminar at the same gym that actually I was training at when I was still living in Japan. And that was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But yeah, just very nice guy, very quiet, very humble. And I'm just happy he ended his career on such a high note.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he's been like, I think now up to now when he stopped competing, he decided to stop competing. And I think it's actually a good call, because he's going to be really good coach and commit to his family. You know, each one they have their decisions. I don't understand why people criticize those things. I think he won on the highest level, you know. And the thing is that up to them, he had like force himself to a rhythm, you know, with the wife coming and cooking for him and doing things. And he was training every day, every time, no matter who he was training with while he was traveling, you know, very hectic schedule, you know, so really like impressive how he could actually translate this and go and win. So like beginning of the year I was watching all his matches from 24, you know, I watched all of them in a row, you know.
Wow. Because you just saw him before he became the world beater we see now. There were certain points maybe between, let's say, 2020 to 2023 where you saw what he was capable of, and sometimes he just didn't get to showcase that.
Yes, I met him before the pandemic. It was, I think I met him in 2018 or 2017, but one of those camps in Poland, he came, he was invited guest, he was already black belt, and I watch him teaching. We had a few beers after that as well, you know, and really I admire the guy, you know, like I know there's a lot of guys with good potential in Poland, in our team and outside our team, but really he fulfilled his potential. That's great, you know.
That's amazing. Good answer. So you've extensively traveled around, let's say, the Middle East and Europe, and you said this is your first time in Asia.
Yes, well, was May.
Yeah.
Rio Asia, my first experience was Japan in May. It blew my mind. It was the trip of my life
Really?
so far, and I think it's gonna be hard to beat it.
Yeah. What was it that just surprised you or like made such an impact to you, would you say?
Look, first of all, like the people, you know, like I think everything. I was always fascinated by Japanese gardens, the history, Zen Buddhism, and stuff like that. You know, I have an interest in gardens for a long time. You know, and all the things that as traditional aspects of the Japanese culture. I'm not fond of sushi, even so people think, oh, you're going for the food. No, not really. I was surprised how much good food they have besides sushi there, you know, but you know, like I'm not the guy that eats raw fish at all, you know, like it's funny. But it was the compound impression because I was expecting something different, but it totally blew out of my mind. I see the cleanliness in the streets, you know, how much people are respectful to each other, how they respect the elderly, you know, like it's of course, like as you have a lot more experience than me in Japan, you're gonna see there's always pros and cons in everything. But I always admired, like Brazil has the biggest population of Japanese descendants in the world.
Yes.
And they brought a lot from their agriculture to their technology and a lot of things that we have to be very grateful to Italian and Japanese immigration in Brazil for us to be so big in agriculture nowadays, you know. But I think that I didn't have a real idea of how Japan was until I went there. And I went straight to Kyoto.
Oh, I just went there for the first time last year.
Yeah, and I spent 6 days there. I went to Hiroshima. That was something that I wanted to do as well. And after that, I went to Tokyo, and I stayed another week in Tokyo. And I had like a culture shock, really. And there's a lot of things that I liked before. And I wasn't, the same as I'm not a sushi man, I'm not an anime guy. I watch some of them, but it's not my kind of stuff, really. It's not like, but I saw that is so much, there's so much things that blew out my mind. But one thing that I learned before about Japan and that I could experience firsthand is that they appreciate someone who is a master in their job. If you can be a real good gardener, you have experience, you can be 85 years old and you're still going to have a job. It's the same for making coffee or teaching jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. That reminds me of that film, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. It's about this, he was 80 at the time, but he was just obsessed about making sushi, and basically spent his entire life, and he ended up with 3 Michelin stars. And there's nothing flashy or fancy of what he does. He just the same obsessive craftsmanship when it comes to mastering how to serve sushi. And obviously, I know sushi is not your thing, but
yes, no, but I appreciate a master.
Yes.
Even if it's something that I don't, that like, let's say is some, whatever art is, you know, if something that I don't appreciate because my own mind doesn't go too deep on that stuff, you know, like I would really appreciate. I cannot, the same that I don't eat sushi, I don't play the guitar, but I appreciate a good guitarist. You know, and I would appreciate a good sushi man, even if I'm not gonna eat his food. You know, like I really appreciate the concept of the guy giving so much detail and so much expertise, you know, year after year, day after day, you know, I think it's fantastic.
Yes.
And this is something that it can only happen in Japan, maybe, you know, because I don't see people, I don't know, maybe it's because Brazilian culture, people like products, they don't appreciate service so much. This is something that we, in our culture, is really bad, I think. You know, like people can buy things from you, but they don't want to pay for your service. Being a painter or any kind of job in Brazil is not appreciated by others. And in Japan, I see that people appreciate a good service. And this is something that actually like really stuck to me, you know, like they really appreciate a good professional.
That's awesome. So first question is, best athletes you've met and worked with, and the worst athletes that you've worked with.
The best athletes that I work with, wow. Because my competitors, I think, were some of the best athletes. The guys I competed against, you know, like I would say, but like everyone that I train with, I appreciated. You know, like I don't say any like I don't want to be superficial and give you names of something. There was so many good guys. I would tell that one of my best training partners, that he lives now in Miami. His name is Aaron Reutemann. He's not very well known in nowadays, but he was a great competitor. He was one of the best athletes in terms of technical guy, you know, Draculino, Soca as well, Hélio Soneca. So everyone from Rio Jiu-Jitsu Club, basically, Mauro Schweng, you know, like, I won't say a worst, really.
No problem.
I'll skip that one.
Okay. So let's say you have your own policy in gym etiquette. Let's say you're running a school, you have these things that are just non-negotiable. What do you think is something that that you do at your gym that some other gyms would adopt, let's say?
I think about cleanliness is non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
I think this is the first thing, and respect.
Yes.
Okay, to everyone inside the mat. And we are something that people, like in our gym, we have a rule that we have never discriminate, no matter, like you are male or female, black, white, yellow, doesn't matter, you know, like which country you come from, you know, if you are a doctor or you're a police officer or you've been a criminal but you're not a criminal anymore, you know, like everyone is brings respect to the mat. It should be respected as well. But one thing we don't allow is extremism.
Extremism.
You know, extremism, political extremism, religious extremism. We don't tolerate those things in Rio Grappling Club.
Yeah, great answer. Most underrated grappler right now.
I think it's not underrated, but probably is a name. He's coming nowadays. I met this guy he's a student of Gordo. His name is Ney Medeiros. He's a really good fighter. He's still young, so he's in early 20s. He's gonna surprise a lot of people.
Really?
Yes, good lasso guard.
Ooh, okay, good answer. This is kind of generic, but I always like to ask people this: gi or nogi, and why?
I like both.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I love them. I think one complements the other.
Absolutely, agree. Your favorite submission and why?
My favorite submission is a Kimura.
Yeah, I like the system. I like it too.
Yes, I like Kimuras because you don't sacrifice position. When you are on top, you can do them from the bottom as well, but when you are on top, you don't need to go to the bottom. You go to an arm bar, you can lose the position. You go for a leg lock and you lose position sometimes, you know, so I really like Kimuras, but I love chokes as well.
Yeah. Good answer. Hardest person you've ever rolled with?
Nino Chambry.
Nino Chambry.
Oh, and Liborio.
Oh, Liborio as well.
Well, I can say Rickson Gracie, but I was trained under him while I was a blue belt. And Rickson was totally different level, but I was a blue belt. Like, let's say I would have the same experience as a black belt back in the days when he was on his best, but I didn't have this opportunity.
Yeah.
I had chance to roll with Nino and with Liborio when I was really on a higher level, and really those two guys were really like most difficult guys to roll with.
What was it about Nino Chambry that was...
Nino Chambry was really unpredictable, and he's got a very good flexibility. And it was one of my toughest matches. We had a match. My first match as a black belt was against Nino Chambry. I got a leg lock on him.
Yeah.
But he swept me. He won on points, but he walked with
with a limp.
With a limp, and he didn't come to compete.
Yeah. How about Liborio, for example? let's say.
Liborio is not unpredictable, but you would know he was gonna get your arm, you would block it, he was gonna get your other arm. And then he would defend that arm, he would get this arm.
Yeah.
So yes, he was predictable, but very difficult to block. So difficult to block the guy. The guy is so strong, but so technical as well in his details.
Good answer.
And great coach.
Yeah. I've heard that about him as well, yes.
He was Arona's coach. Like, I think one of the biggest things about Ricardo Arona, he had a lot of time together with Liborio. Liborio could get some guys from Nova União match and break down what the new technique the guys were bringing, surprising people in a competition. He could break this down so quickly, find counters to it, and stuff like that. You know, he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He is brilliant.
He had a brilliant mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has, not had.
He
He's still alive. He is alive, yeah. Not so older than me even.
Isn't he like teaching something to do with jiu-jitsu in universities now?
I don't know, because so many people went to America and I kind of lost track of them, you know. We don't get in contact. I saw them on Instagram from time to time, but I don't spend that much time on it. So really, yes, I cannot say for sure what he's doing, but he's doing a good job whatever he's doing.
Okay, good answer. Two more. So one country you'd love to open a Rio Grappling Club in?
Japan,
of course. Yeah, it's too easy in the question. Okay, so you went to Hiroshima, you went to Tokyo, and you went to Kyoto. Which one would you prefer, if you had a choice, or just maybe need some more time there? Obviously.
Yes, I need more time there. I'm going in October for different places as well.
That's
so
awesome. Good. I'll be there in October as well, actually, visiting my family. Okay. Here's a good one. If you weren't doing jiu-jitsu, what do you think you would have been doing career-wise?
Look, I don't know. Really, after I chose jiu-jitsu or after jiu-jitsu chose me, I don't know. But honestly, when I grow older, I wanna be working in my gardens, and I wanna be working with bamboo. And that's why I'm gonna visit Vietnam, Bali now, because I'm learning. This is a new skill I'm trying to develop to learn my hands and start to building small things first, you know, like, and something is a new interest of mine.
Good answer. May I ask, what is it about agriculture that what do you like? Just growing flowers, or do you want to make food, or like everything
from bonsai to orchids to growing tomatoes to eat and to feed my friends and fruits. You know, I'm fascinated by growing food. I think it's one of the most essential arts in our planet. Actually, you know, like we cannot be fed without people that are growing the food for us. We should appreciate this a lot more.
Absolutely. Good answer. So I usually close with two questions. So the first one is, what does a black belt mean to you?
I don't want to be repetitive and say the same like the Estonian guy, you know, but I think the black belt means that you reach the level that you already can understand the game, but it's still so much to learn. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for over 30 years. And I'm still learning, and I'm sure that if I had more time committed, because I have other interests in life as well, but if I committed even more to jiu-jitsu, I would have like a lifetime of learning. That you never stop learning. Every time you step on the mats, you learn from your students, you learn from other coaches, you learn from videos you see, you learn from watching competition. It's a never-ending road. It's amazing. Really, that's why it's something that fascinated me. There is no end on it.
Yeah.
You know, like, so the black belt is not an end, it's a new beginning.
Good answer. And another question is, what's next for you? Do you have any big plans or projects coming up? Just more travel?
Yes, like my plans now for until the end of the year, I have this small trip now that I'm doing in Asia. So I kind of came too late to Bangkok to actually see it, but I'm going to have today and tomorrow to see a little bit of Bangkok. I'm going to Saigon for 5 days. I'm going to have 8 to 10 days in Bali, and I'm coming back to Europe. I have my seminars. I have a camp in Italy. It's 5 days camp. Then I have seminars in Scotland and England and Netherlands, Greece and Germany and Poland. After that, I fly to Japan with an open schedule to stay up for a month. You know, I'm gonna definitely visiting Brazilian guy that lives, Robson Oda, that lives close to Kanazawa. I forgot the name of this place. I'm gonna visit Ryozo Murata at Iawara, and probably I'm gonna try to make more contacts to see other stuff. But I'm gonna buy a JR pass for 2 weeks, so I'm gonna spend a week in Tokyo, and then I'm gonna go all the way to Fukuoka, Nagasaki this time. And on my way back, I'm gonna try to stop as many places as possible. I'm gonna do a little bit of tourism, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. After that, I really depend on something, because I got my residence in Poland renewed, but I have to wait for a physical card in November there. If it's not ready, I have to head back to Poland after Japan. If this actually is ready before that, in October when I visit, I'd like to visit Philippines. You know, so if guys from the Philippines are hearing me, I really want to go to the Philippines as well. It's a country that I think Jiu-Jitsu is growing quite quickly. The people from the Philippines are amazing people. I met them in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. You know, I had the opportunity to teach some of them over there, and I have some of them that moved back. I actually met a guy from the Philippines that lives in America, a student of Tinguin as well, Mark Rodriguez. So I know some people there and outside, so I really like, it's something that I really want to do.
Yeah, good answer. This is actually a good one. Last words of advice you'd give any student or coach trying to make jiu-jitsu their life?
Don't give up. I think that is like, just keep going day after day, you know, like if you don't give up, you're going to get there, you know. The Rezo's phrase sticks to everyone, you know. A black belt is a white belt that doesn't give up. And I would say a red belt is a black belt that just became old. He didn't give up on life.
And my last question is, who would you like to thank?
First of all, my father and my mother, that not longer with us, but without them, I wouldn't be here.
Yep.
I would like to have a big appreciation for Renzo Gracie and for Rickson Gracie, what they did for me. For this road was a lot easier to choose, you know. I think Rickson, because of the philosophy, you know, like when he told me that teaching jiu-jitsu was a mission for him, I took it as my mission as well, you know. And Renzo gave me so much information as well, and so much support over the years in the past. But I can always thank Murilo and Bolon for having supported me on a later stage as well. And they gave me so much information, knowledge, and gave me so much as well. But I have to thank all my students, all the people that came to them, step on the mats, the people that competed against me, the people that trained with me, that helped me to prepare for competition. Like, it's an endless list. If I have to thank everyone that has been in touch with me, even the ones that didn't like me or that I didn't like them, you know, like I really appreciate all of these guys. That the road wouldn't be that without all of you. So I appreciate everyone that came in contact with me over 30 years in Jiu-Jitsu. I really have to be grateful. My brother as well, you know, like all my teammates over the years, all my students in all those countries, you know, all the people that hosted me in their houses, in their sofas while I was traveling around, you know, like everyone. I'm so grateful, really.
Thank you.